Before I start, my name is McCarthy. I'm originally from Gerardstown out in Berkeley County, West Virginia. I'm a major in music with a minor in Appalachian music. It's an honor to be here today. A great speaker once said to me, "A good speech is a great story." So let me tell you a story. It's not a story of love and loss. It's not of tragedy, but of growth. It's a personal one and one I am truly proud of. And like any story, we need an original, great opening line. That one's been used, I'm sorry, but I made some edits because I thought it was a great start. So, at the intersection of Route 11 and Gerardstown Road, and I ignore that part, in Inwood, West Virginia, there stood a Kentucky Fried Chicken. For many years, this Kentucky Fried Chicken right here sat in my hometown with its delicious blend of herbs and spices. This building was a bastion for my young heart. It was the only fast food my parents were willing to regularly purchase. Something about their biscuits apparently meant my parents could devalue their personal health food creed for. However, all good things must come to an end. One day, my family and I passed the building, saw that the KFC had been bought out, and an Arby's had taken its place. We were all devastated, but my father, Dr. Ryan McCarthy, MD, took it personally. I could see the rage in his eyes coalesce. As we processed that new development, I was paralyzed with fear, with anger, but my father, a kind and patient man, was not violent in the face of injustice. I remember watching him lead my family through this tragedy. He taught me answers to questions that I probably should never have had to ask. How does one respond to grief? Where does one look for answers? Where will we buy our fried chicken now? He was steely calm, but fiery passionate, and I remember thinking, I want to lead like that. In the following years, I dedicated myself to becoming a leader in his stead, but it wasn't until I finished the Presidential Student Ambassadors program that I was able to fully articulate just what that moment meant to me. That moment made me want to become a leader. It's the moment I've modeled my leadership model on. My own story started with that moment, and I've never looked back. As a leader, my personal leadership theory is the KFC model: kindness, forwardness, and context. A leadership theory can never truly be all-encompassing. As such, I don't think my leadership style could be entirely democratic, entirely autocratic, or entirely hands-off. First, one must be kind. It is always crucial to be kind. An effective leader must be kind. And no, kind leaders are not weak, but rather strong because of their deep kindness. I am not feeble because I am kind, but rather I make the world a better place despite its attempts to foil me. Next, a good leader must be forward. They tell those they lead what they need from the start. Hiding one's feelings is rarely effective from a leadership position. In being upfront, we as leaders can create a culture in which those who are being led know what they need to be doing. Finally, a great leader is always, when appropriate, providing context. If people know why something is done, how it is done, why we are doing it, and what it will result in, people's actions will be more confident and their performance will improve. Prior to developing this original blend of herbs and spices I call my leadership model, I started leading in my community. I began working initially after the Arby's incident as a volunteer junior counselor for my local Audubon Society. From there, I became hooked on leadership and channeled it into positions in high school and eventually applied for the PSA program once in college. This turned out to be the biggest growth experience I could have ever asked for. As I grew as a leader in this very program, I gained an acute awareness of my strengths and weaknesses. My diverse background, my love for speaking, and my fast-paced work model make me a strong and effective leader. I'm well-versed in the arts, the athletics, and the academics, which enable me to build a relationship with anyone I may lead. Because I love talking to a crowd, I have a leg up over someone equally qualified who struggles working with people. Finally, because I work fast, I've discovered that I am able to handle the high-stress environment that I'm often placed in as a leader. However, This fast pace can be a weakness of mine. I can move too fast. I can skip, I can make errors, and my enthusiasm can result in me talking over others. However, I am always working to improve my leadership by thinking before I speak and using the extra time generated by my fast pace to check my work. In becoming a leader, I've often been put into positions of service. During my leadership journey, I've realized that leadership and service go hand in hand. I've realized that it becomes arbitrary trying to separate the two, and as such, have abandoned it. Instead, I choose to embody both service and leadership when acting as a leader. I gained this perspective through the Student Ambassadors Program working with the Appalachian Prison Book Project, as well as my time with the Veterans Association and other smaller volunteer organizations. While these activities are a small snippet of my personal leadership journey, it's not the entirety of it. And unlike the story I told you at the start of this, my story does not have a conclusion yet. I love to lead. I love to share my stories with others, and yes, I love fried chicken. In reflecting on the journey that has brought me here today, you may find my origin story frivolous, but I assure you it is anything but. My leadership story may not be finger-licking good, but it is truly genuine, and one I look forward to writing the next chapter of. Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac.
Isaac, where's your KFC of choice?
Yeah, where's the KFC?
So the tragedies, there's not one in Berkeley County. There isn't. We had to go to Martin's. Like whenever we got fried chicken, we would have to order it from